feeling inexplicably drained, as if invisible forces are working against you, might be a sign that there is more going on than you realize. Patterns of misfortune or sudden obstacles that hinder your progress can indicate subtle influences that need to be recognized and understood. There are times in the lives of those who are destined for something greater when everything seems to go wrong. It feels like all the bad things happen at once. A stable life situation might fall apart without any apparent reason from one moment to the next. It could be an unexplained emotional breakup or an unexpected loss. A fierce enemy might suddenly appear, sometimes even within the family. You might experience strange pains in your body or even an illness with no explainable cause that no doctor can cure. These are worrying signs. This situation can spread and affect all areas of a chosen one's life, one by one. At first, it might seem like a coincidence of negative events. However, when these misfortunes start piling up, it's essential to look deeper and understand that there might be hidden forces at play. When you face these situations, it might be tempting to feel hopeless. However, if you persist on this path, it's unfortunately possible that you are being affected by negative energies or spells. But don't worry. This doesn't involve invoking evil spirits or sacrificing animals. In fact, a spiritual attack can occur when we are emotionally and energetically unbalanced, making it easier for denser negative energies to approach us. The spiritual reality is that our battle isn't against other people. No, we are fighting more dangerous and treacherous enemies, evil spiritual forces that lurk in the shadows seeking to bring us down. These enemies know our weaknesses, our fears, and our doubts. They are cunning and crafty adversaries, always lurking, always looking for a weak point in our defenses. Understanding this can help us realize the importance of maintaining our emotional and energetic balance. By doing so, we strengthen our defenses against these negative influences, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and clarity. The mind is the battlefield where the enemy launches his most severe attacks. He whispers lies and doubts, stirs up our fears, and tries to convince us that we are alone, unloved, and unworthy. These attacks are like flaming arrows, each designed to knock us off course and draw us away from the light and love of Jesus. In this world, there is no shortage of envious people and hidden enemies. It's crucial to choose our friendships wisely, but it's not always possible to know who might be envying you, giving you the evil eye, or even practicing harmful spells against you. These adversaries can be people within your social circle or strangers who covet something you possess. Join us on this journey of spiritual discovery and empowerment. One of the first signs of spiritual attack in the life of a chosen one is experiencing rejection and belittlement from those around them. This has happened to me, and likely to around 70% of the people watching this video. When you give your life to Christ and turn away from deliberate sin, repenting and choosing a path of righteousness, people may start to look down on you. They might speak badly of you and say absurd things about your transformation. By deciding to no longer live according to worldly and carnal desires, you may face criticism and negativity, but this is part of the journey towards spiritual growth and strength. This behavior is not only observed among friends and coworkers, but also among the people closest to you, your own parents, siblings, those within your household, and even your romantic partner. This kind of behavior can be considered a form of witchcraft because it messes with your mind and your feelings. You begin to question whether you are doing the right thing by turning away from sin and dedicating your life to Christ. We all know internally that we were created to worship the Most High. When people belittle you, play mind games, question your faith, and call you crazy, it is a form of witchcraft. It's essential to recognize this tactic. For me, after 6 years, it doesn't bother me anymore because they use other tactics now. But for those of you who are starting to learn about the truth, the demonic matrix we live in, and trying to wake up from it, believe me, this is one of Satan's tactics. He uses the people closest to you to make you think you're crazy and that what you're doing is wrong. There are many biblical examples that illustrate this reality. In the book of Job, we see a righteous and upright man who, when attacked by Satan, loses everything and faces rejection from his friends and even his wife, who tells him to curse God and die. Job's story shows us that even the most faithful can face severe trials and rejection from those they love. Understanding these tactics helps us stay strong in our faith and committed to our path. Recognize these signs, stand firm in your beliefs, and remember that you are not alone in this journey. Job, however, remains firm in his faith, recognizing that his struggle is not against flesh and blood but against spiritual forces of evil. Another example is that of Jesus Christ. When he began his ministry, he faced rejection and disbelief from many, including his own family. In Mark 3:21, we read, "When his own people heard of it, they went out to seize him, for they said, 'He is out of his mind.'" Jesus also warned that his followers would face persecution and rejection, saying, "A man's enemies will be those of his own household." These biblical examples show that rejection and belittling from those closest to us can be forms of spiritual attack designed to destabilize our faith and pull us away from our divine purpose. Recognizing these tactics and standing firm in your faith is essential for overcoming challenges and growing spiritually. The second sign that sorcery is attacking the life of a chosen one is excessive and treacherous flattery. This is something the Most High revealed to me a few months ago, confirming something I already knew deep down. When people use flattery to get close to you, they usually have hidden and treacherous intentions. Flattery can be a deceptive tool used to manipulate and control. It is crucial to discern genuine praise from deceitful flattery. Those who flatter excessively might be trying to gain your trust only to use it against you later. Recognizing this tactic can protect you from harm and keep you aligned with your spiritual path. In conclusion, understanding these forms of spiritual attack, whether through rejection, belittling, or flattery, helps us stay vigilant and resilient. By staying firm in our faith and recognizing these tactics, we can overcome these challenges and continue to grow spiritually. Those who belong to Satan's kingdom or are in bondage due to their lifestyle, deliberate sin, or a religious spirit often use flattery as a tactic to infiltrate your life. They try to get close to you by offering gifts and giving you lots of compliments. It's important to discern whether someone is genuine or has hidden intentions. Showing love to a brother or sister is a good thing, but when flattery is used for manipulation, it's a form of witchcraft. If you have eyes to see, you don't even need ears to hear because you can spot a sycophant from afar. I once heard something that struck me. A sycophant is false and dangerous. He's like a piece of coal. When it's off, it will dirty you, and when it's on, it will burn you. Beware of people who come to you to talk badly about others. Those people who approach you like this saying, "I won't even tell you," but then proceed to gossip, are not to be trusted. They act as if discovering negative information about someone else is incredibly important. This is typical of a gossip. In general, a gossip is a sycophant. The typical gossip never seeks you out to speak well of someone. Be careful and don't fool yourself. The person who seeks you out to badmouth someone will one day do the same to you. They'll badmouth you to someone else. The sycophant enters your life making you feel like the best person in the world. The best, the most beautiful, the most talented, the most intelligent. They tell you that you have the greatest gift and an anointing that no one else has. They feed your vanity, and believe me, you go blind because you become addicted to thinking you're the best. You open doors for their flattery to take hold. The sycophant is excessive. You can like a person and even praise them, but when it becomes over the top and manipulative, it's dangerous. Genuine praise is healthy, but excessive flattery is designed to control and deceive. Recognizing these tactics is crucial for protecting your spiritual well-being. Stay vigilant and discerning, and remember that true friends and allies will support you honestly and sincerely, without hidden agendas. When you genuinely like someone, praise and admiration come naturally, but not in an exaggerated or blatant way that makes others feel uneasy. Do you know where we see this a lot? On social media. Yes, I feel repulsed when I see some posts by sycophants. It's a showcase for them. I know exactly who the people are who genuinely like me because there's a real affection and admiration involved. People with the right words at the right times, with a care and zeal for my life. In the Bible, we have clear examples of this behavior. Delilah used flattery to get close to Samson. Not only was she beautiful, but she was also skilled with words. In Judges 16, we see how Delilah, with smooth and deceptive words, managed to discover the secret of Samson's strength, betraying him to the Philistines. Delilah's betrayal is a classic example of how flattery can be a tactic used by those with evil intentions. Another example is Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. Judas was close to Jesus. He was one of the 12 disciples. Through his closeness and apparent loyalty, he gained Jesus' trust. However, he used this trust to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Judas's betrayal is a clear demonstration of how someone can use flattery and apparent loyalty to deceive and harm. Recognizing these tactics is crucial for protecting your spiritual well-being. Stay vigilant and discerning, and remember that true friends and allies will support you honestly and sincerely, without hidden agendas. Genuine relationships are built on mutual respect, honesty, and a sincere interest in each other's well-being, not on manipulation and deceit. These biblical examples show that flattery and betrayal are tactics used by those under the influence of evil forces. As chosen ones, it is crucial to be aware of these tactics, discerning the intentions of those around us, and protecting ourselves against negative influences. Spiritual discernment is a powerful tool that helps us identify and ward off those who try to infiltrate our lives with treacherous intentions. The third sign that witchcraft is attacking the life of a chosen one is the feeling of being watched or persecuted. In the spiritual community, this is known as gang stalking, a form of spiritual warfare and witchcraft. You may feel that you are being watched, as if monitoring spirits have been sent to spy on you. This is an aspect of Satan's kingdom. Have you ever felt that you were being watched, but when you turned around, no one was there? Have you heard someone say your name when no one was around? Have you had the impression that you felt someone's presence when you were alone at home? It could be that these situations were nothing, but it could also be that spirits are trying to communicate with you. At least that's what mediums believe, people who have developed the ability to connect in one way or another with the world of the dead. This isn't paranoia, it's a spiritual reality. The spirit world is real, and what we can't see with our physical eyes is present. The world we live in today is full of demons and evil forces. When you feel like you're being watched, it's not just your imagination, it's a spiritual reality. Recognizing this can help you stay vigilant and protect yourself spiritually. Understanding these tactics helps us remain firm in our faith and resilient against spiritual attacks. Whether it's through flattery, betrayal, or the unsettling feeling of being watched, being aware of these signs empowers us to take action and safeguard our spiritual well-being. Stay strong, trust in your spiritual discernment, and remember that you are not alone in this journey. Monitoring spirits and gang stalkers are sent to spy on you, watching your every move without ever interacting directly. They may watch your stories or follow your actions but never get directly involved. This is a form of witchcraft. In the Bible, we see examples of spiritual surveillance and persecution. In 1 Samuel, we read that Saul, from that day on, looked enviously at David. Saul, consumed by envy and hatred, constantly watched David, looking for an opportunity to harm him. This behavior of obsessive vigilance is a clear example of how evil forces can influence people to persecute the chosen ones. Another example is that of Nebuchadnezzar, who ordered the 3 Hebrew youths to be watched and thrown into the fiery furnace for refusing to worship the golden image. Although the king was physically present, his surveillance and persecution were spiritual in nature, as the young men were attacked for their faith in God. These biblical examples show that the feeling of being watched and persecuted is a tactic used by evil forces to destabilize and intimidate the chosen ones. As the chosen, it is vital to recognize and resist these tactics, growing stronger in faith and trusting in divine protection. Spiritual discernment is essential to identify and confront these influences, standing firm in truth and divine guidance. Understanding these tactics helps us remain firm in our faith and resilient against spiritual attacks. Whether it's through flattery, betrayal, or the unsettling feeling of being watched, being aware of these signs empowers us to take action and safeguard our spiritual well-being. Stay strong, trust in your spiritual discernment, and remember that you are not alone in this journey. The fourth sign that witchcraft is attacking the life of a chosen one is the presence of rebellion, control, and manipulation. These are means through which witchcraft manifests itself and impacts people's lives. The Bible teaches us in Samuel that rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. When we rebel against the Most High and His commandments, we open doors for witchcraft to enter our lives. Therefore, We shouldn't be surprised when we face witchcraft attacks if we are in a state of rebellion. Rebellion against God's will makes us vulnerable to evil influences. By rebelling, we not only endanger ourselves but also expose our loved ones to these negative spiritual forces. As seen in Isaiah and Ezekiel, the archangel turned into Satan when he attempted to usurp God's authority, thereby becoming his adversary. This illustrates that rebellion has its essence in Satan. He established it, and those who practice it resemble him in character. God, on the other hand, instituted obedience. He created angels, humanity, and all things, so all of creation is subject to him. We, as his chosen ones, are called to obedience. Rebellion takes many forms and has various consequences, but its root remains the same: deliberate disobedience. The spirit of rebellion does not please God, instead it opposes his authority. For the elect, rebellion can manifest in various ways: against God, against parents, against laws, or against the church. Ultimately, all rebellion is against God because it disregards the standards of authority that he has established. Understanding these truths helps us guard against spiritual attacks and stay aligned with God's will. By choosing obedience over rebellion, we honor God's authority in our lives and protect ourselves from the influence of witchcraft and other negative spiritual forces. Established in the Bible, we find clear examples of how rebellion can open the door to witchcraft. One example is the story of King Saul. He disobeyed God's instructions, and as a result, the Spirit of the Lord departed from him, and an evil spirit began to torment him. Saul's rebellion against God's orders opened the door to the influence of evil spirits in his life. Another example is that of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, who rebelled against Moses and Aaron in the desert. This rebellion was seen as a direct affront to God's authority, and the punishment was severe. The earth opened up and swallowed the rebels. Their rebellion was not just against Moses but against God himself, demonstrating how rebellion is viewed as a serious sin that attracts negative spiritual consequences. These biblical examples show us the seriousness of rebellion and how it can attract evil influences, including witchcraft. As chosen ones, it is vital to recognize the importance of obeying God's commandments and avoiding behaviors of rebellion, control, and manipulation. By standing firm in faith and obedience, we protect ourselves and our loved ones from the negative spiritual forces that seek to divert us from our divine purpose. The fifth sign that witchcraft is attacking the life of a chosen one is constant nightmares. When you are trying to do the right thing, following the narrow path and seeking holiness, Satan goes after you. He targets those who are striving to live according to God's will. If you're not experiencing any spiritual attacks, perhaps it's time to question what you're doing. Constant nightmares are a form of spiritual attack and can be a sign that you're on the right path, but facing opposition. Even as you create these videos, attacks may come. Satan doesn't want us to expose his tactics, so he uses weak people to exhaust, hurt, and betray us. However, this is precisely why we are called to put on the armor of God and fight against these spiritual powers. In the Bible, we see how dreams and visions can be battlegrounds of spiritual warfare. In the book of Daniel, the prophet Daniel experiences a disturbing vision and requires angelic intervention to understand and resist the spiritual forces hindering divine revelation. This shows that spiritual struggle can manifest even in our dreams. Another example is Job, who faced intense attacks from Satan. He describes how terrifying his dreams became. "You frighten me with dreams and haunt me with..." Understanding these spiritual battles helps us recognize that nightmares and unsettling dreams can be part of the spiritual warfare we face as chosen ones. By relying on God's strength and protection, we can resist these attacks and continue walking in faith, knowing that God's power is greater than any spiritual opposition we may encounter.